welcome to How to Lose Your Next 5 to 10 Pounds. Some of us may have more than that to lose, but even the steps that you're going to hear and the learning you're going to do today, we hope will equip you for whatever goal it is that you've set for yourself, whether that's weight loss or maintaining or both, because no one wants to lose weight just to gain it back, right? And so I am a former teacher. My name is Jolene. I'm a former teacher, and I truly believe knowledge is power. So the more you learn, especially about your health, you guys, we are taught a lot of nothing when it comes to our health. And then as adults, that lack of knowledge does not serve us very well. And so our goal and our hope today is that you will walk away equipped with some knowledge, with some better understanding about your health, about your journey, about how to just make better choices, what to look for, your metabolism. Your metabolism is not broken. I tell people that a lot. It is not broken. We just got to work it correctly so that you see success. So I am going to go ahead and jump on in. Today we've got a special bonus, so you're going to get a little guide. You're going to get some just goodies at the end of this. And so if you've got your phone, you can do a little QR code. We'll have that up for you guys. And then an invitation to a group that we've got launching later this week. And then we'll stay here after for FAQs just to make sure that we've answered all your questions. So write those down and make sure that you can see those, that you can share those at the end. So we'll stop the recording and then open it up for questions. And then which one, throw this in the chat, which one sounds like you? Okay, oops, I went too far. One, you're not seeing the results you're hoping for. Two, you feel overwhelmed with the next step to actually lose weight. There's like all the things that you could do. You feel overwhelmed. Three, you want to not just lose weight, but you also want to create a healthy lifestyle. Or four, information overload, high protein, low carb, what are macros, what should I do? Which of these, 1, 2, 3, or 4, or maybe you've got more than one. Throw that into the chat and let us know how you're feeling, because I want to see what gauge we've got in this group. And then here's what we're going to cover. We're going to cover the phases of nutrition. We're going to talk about what macros actually are. A lot of us have heard about macronutrients, but we don't actually know what they are. Why you may not be seeing some results, and then specific steps that you can implement to start seeing those results, right? We want to see success. We don't want to be frustrated in the hamster wheel of failure. That's really what I feel like it is sometimes. And so a little about me. My name is Jolene. I was a teacher for 10 years, but really just was busy. I also had my first son while I was teaching. I was exhausted. I tried a laundry list of things and ended up feeling like a failure every time because nothing actually worked for like 10 years, you guys. Spring 2018, my mom passed away very suddenly. And if you've ever experienced loss, you know that time and the things that you value just shift in that. There's just a shift in your mind. There's a shift in your outlook, how you view things. And I knew I had been trying to get healthy, but when I lost my mom, I knew time is precious and I am not showing up as the mom that I desire to be for my kiddos. I want to be present. I want to enjoy every moment with them. I don't want to parent from the couch. I don't want to avoid activities. I don't want to watch them play and not be able to play with them. Y'all, I'll tell you, we went to the park today. We spent like 2 hours at the park and I was jumping and sliding and swinging and doing all the things with them. I was not doing that before. I can honestly say 5 years ago, I watched them play. And today I got to be with them in it. That was the shift that I was longing for. So insert Optavia changed my entire life. I watched a friend lose 50 pounds and then keep it off. I watched her literally for 8 months. And so I watched her keep it off and I realized it was time. Tell me what you're doing. Send me the box. I don't know what it is. I don't care what's in it. I need to change. And I needed her support. I needed what it was that Optavia offered for me to finally see success because I had been doing it alone for years and years and years. So 2018, I jumped in. I lost 35 pounds in 3.5 months and have not looked back. I have looked back to reflect on life and to enjoy it, but really have not looked back. These are a few of just the victories that I get to call my own. Fast forward 2020 and 2021, I actually had a second kiddo. I got really pregnant. Not really, well, I was really pregnant. I actually got pregnant and had a very healthy pregnancy this time. I learned about taking care of myself. So through a pregnancy and all the cravings and all the wild things that women experience, I had a really healthy pregnancy, which was night and day from my first. And no complications, right? He is a 3-year-old little spitfire these days. I shifted my health then in 2022 to become more active. I started working out, y'all, for the first time in my entire life. Some of you guys in high school were athletes, or in college you played sports. I did none of that. None of that. So this was the first time I actually did physical activity. I didn't know what dumbbells were or a bar was or any of those things, deadlifts. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. So just really learning how to work out and exercise, but also fuel my body for an athlete's lifestyle, right? I competed in 3 Spartan races in 2022. It's an obstacle race, and did my first bodybuilding competition in 2023. People magazine actually featured my health story this past January, which was an incredible honor, and really was just through Optavia that door was even opened. And then I am currently training for a second bodybuilding competition that will be in mid-May. So lots of things have changed from this girl back in 2018, and I am just lucky every step of the way. So let's get just the mindset, right? The negative thoughts. This isn't working for me because I'm my age, because I'm busy, because I'm not naturally thin and I never have been. So health is just so hard, right? Something must be broken because I'm trying everything. These are the thoughts that sometimes we have. And so I'm here to tell you that these are no longer going to be excuses. And our hope is that you'll really understand how to take care of yourself well, and really make the change for good, right? So let's dive in together. The phases of health, phases of macros. One is maintenance. That's where you're keeping your weight consistently, right? A lot of us have been in a stage of maintenance. Sometimes, I was in a stage of maintenance, but it was overweight. I kept that weight very consistently, right? But whatever it is, you're consuming the same amount of calories that you burn throughout the day, calories in or calories out, and you're keeping your weight like steady, right? That's maintaining. 2 is calorie deficit. This is where you're consuming less calories than you burn in a day with appropriate macros. You can be in a calorie deficit and have it all kinds of wonky. We're going to talk today about a healthy calorie deficit where you're giving your body exactly what it needs to sustain, to feel equipped, to be efficient, and to lose fat, right? So the goal of a calorie deficit is to reduce body fat, not muscle, not just water, right? Body fat is where we want to focus. Stage 3 or phase 3 is reverse dieting. This is also in Optavia world, we call it transitioning. When you transition from the plan that you're on into a maintenance plan, right? Do not skip this step. This step is crucial, right? So if you are in a calorie deficit currently, you will reverse diet out of that deficit in order to get to maintenance. It is slow. It is systematic, and it is so that your metabolism adapts along the way. It will increase so that it doesn't freak out when all of a sudden you add calories back in, right? So you add a few calories, it gets used to that. You add a few calories, it gets used to that. You add a few calories, it gets used to that, up to your maintenance calories, okay? And then stage 4, this is something that you may or may not experience in your lifetime, but this is a calorie surplus. If you are building muscle, you would step into a calorie surplus. That's the goal. So I will tell you, and Cindy's gonna be speaking here in a little bit, she and I have been we trained for a bodybuilding competition in the spring, and then the fall is the bulk season, and that is a calorie surplus so that you can bulk muscle. This is not like, you're not turning into like an Amazonian, okay? This is just little by little gaining muscle. That's the goal, gaining muscle. Sometimes we're in a calorie surplus and we're gaining fat We're not gaining muscle, but you want to, the goal, the ideal calorie surplus is to increase your calories so that your muscles can build. So those are the 4 phases. I want you to really think about which phase are you in. Go ahead and drop that in the chat. Are you in a maintenance phase? And if you have not been losing weight, you're in a maintenance phase, even if you're trying not to be in a maintenance phase, right? Are you in a calorie deficit? Are you reverse dieting? Or are you in a calorie surplus? If you are gaining weight, you might be in a calorie surplus. That's not just like a weekend gaining weight, right? This is like over time you've been gaining weight. So maintenance, calorie deficit, reverse diet, calorie surplus. Figure out which one you're in so that you can figure out which one you want to be in. Is the one you want to be in the one that you're in, or are you wanting to be in a different one? Are you desiring to be in a different one? So really think about that. Okay, and here is why you may not be seeing fat loss. Maybe you're not in a calorie deficit. That really is the only way to lose fat, is to be in a calorie deficit. You have to burn more that you're taking in order for your fat, for your body to use that stored fat as energy. Maybe you're not tracking or measuring your food correctly. So you think you're in a deficit, but you're actually in a maintenance because you're eating more than you think you are. Or maybe you're eating too little because you're not tracking and your body is storing because it's not getting enough, right? You don't see immediate results, so you give up. This is for my impatient people who are like, I didn't lose weight, blah, right? So I'm going to challenge you to have some patience. It takes time. It is not overnight. Your body does not just must eat fat like it's no big deal, right? You really have to have some patience. Or maybe you're not consistent. And so this is where the all or nothing mindset comes in. I have to tell people a lot, life is not all or nothing. And so just because you messed up in the morning and had a half a donut with your kiddos, the end of the day might still end up in a deficit. Not if you throw it off completely and decide, oh, I messed up, I ate that donut, I might as well eat the pizza and the cake and have a soda and go ahead and just, throw those mashed potatoes on my dinner plate, because why not, right? But really, you're walking, you running around with your kiddos, you going to work out that day, the dog that you took for a walk, that might have burned off that donut. And so it's not all or nothing. You could have still ended the day in a deficit, but because you threw it out the window, you would have never known. So that's where the unknown comes in. So really think about, are any of these things that you fall victim into? Are any of these things what shifts your mindset sometimes? So really process that. And then I want to dive into for a second about metabolic adaptation. This is new. This is something that I've learned along the way as a coach. And man, I wish I knew it a long time ago. But here's the thing. Your metabolism gets used to the calories that you give it. So if you are on the Optavia plan, you are eating or consuming between 1,000 to 1,400 calories, depending on which plan you're on. Okay, your body, maybe not in the first 3 days, right? But over time, after the first week, definitely in the second week, your body has started to adapt to that. And that is just us, our metabolism adapts to the calories we're giving it out of efficiency, out of safety, out of protection, and out of survival. Your body needs to survive on what you're giving it consistently, right? And so your metabolism is going to adapt to what it is. Let's just nail it at 1,200 calories. Let's say you're eating 1,200 calories, over 100 of those are protein if you're on any of the Optavia plans. So you really do feel great, right? When you undereat, you miss a meal, you didn't measure your dinner protein, you get those signals of hunger, out of safety, right? Out of efficiency, out of survival. Your body's saying, I'm really hungry. That's because you didn't give it enough. And if you did give it enough, maybe it's because you haven't been consistent long enough, right? And so this is great. When you're in a deficit, you lose fat. Then you gradually go into that reverse dieting phase where you're that transition where you increase, your metabolism adapts, you increase, your metabolism adapts. We want metabolic adaptation, right? The problem happens is that spike. You'll see that spike on the screen. That's the cheat meal. That's the date night. That's the holidays, the over Christmas. We've got a lot of those spikes. your body doesn't know what to do with it. It is not out of survival that we've all of a sudden increased our calories, right? And so there is an increase in water. Some of that happens for like the one cheat meal or so. But after a few days, let's say you're sitting in that spike for a couple days, you're sitting in that spike for a week, maybe a month, your body is not used to that intake and the fat cells will start filling back up. Okay, so that's where we see the pounds kind of come back on, and it's really hard to get them off. Your fat cells do not disappear, they just empty. So they're just sitting there waiting just in case, right? Out of safety, your body is sitting there waiting just in case it needs to fill them back up. And when we increase that spike over the span of a couple days or a couple weeks, they will start filling back up. It's not just bloating, okay? So this is why when you hit your goal, you want to get out of that deficit slowly, add a little more food and let it adjust, let your metabolism adapt. But this is also why if whenever you've done great for a week or you've been on plan for a couple weeks, or you're gonna be a client and you're gonna be consistent with your nutrition, but then something goes awry and there's a big spike, this is exactly why we see the scale go back up. If it's just one meal, it's more bloating than anything else. But when it goes over time and that meal turns into a week, turns into 2 weeks, turns into longer, and you pack on pounds without having gone through that reverse diet phase, this is exactly what's happening. So I hope that makes sense. Remember, we'll be here after if you have more questions on this, but understanding metabolic adaptation will make a huge difference in how consistent you can stay. Okay, send it over to Cindy.
Thanks, Joe. Hi, guys. Yes, so I am Cindy Beasley. A little bit about my story. In 2020, like many of us, I felt defeated, depressed, and desperate. I had put on about 15 to 20 pounds just in COVID. So to say that I was eating my feelings is definitely an understatement. But I had a trickling weight gain over about a 3 to 5 period of time, even with a boot camp style class that I was going to 3 to 5 days a week. And it's just hilarious tonight that we're talking about macros, because at that time in my life, that is what the boot camp wanted us to do: macros, macros, macros. And I was not in a place to even receive that information. So just know that if you're here tonight and this is overwhelming to you, we're here to break it down and to answer more questions after. But in 2020, I saw a friend that I was working out at that boot camp with. She had lost 18 pounds in 8 weeks on our Optavia program. And I did not care what it was. I just said, order me that. And so fast forward about 4.5 months, I lost 45 pounds. As you guys can see, that's my day one photo on the left. And I'm a short girl, right? So 5 pounds looks like 10, 10 looks like 15. And it's hard on us shorties, but it radically changed my life. And so 3 weeks in, I was shouting from the rooftops, everybody's got to get on this thing. And I've been coaching ever since. So because of Optavia, I got to do a lifelong dream last year and be a part of a amateur bodybuilding competition with Jolene. And so that's my picture on the right. And I'm going after that again this May. So definitely a really fun experience and grateful for it. But if it wasn't for Optavia, I would have never probably considered it. Okay, so here's the thing about macros. Macronutrients are the profile of what you eat. So if you can get the right balance for fat loss, you will see results. No matter the age, lifestyle, time you have, starting point, none of that matters. If you can get your macronutrients right, you will see those results. Okay, so understanding nutrition. Calories, right? The calories that we are eating, it is just measured by it's a unit of energy. Okay, calories is energy. And so a lot of time the calories that we're eating can be a lot, right? And it gives us energy. And then macros. Macros are super simple, right? Jolene went over that very briefly. Protein, carbs, and fats. And so really getting into the looking at nutrition labels when you're at the store. I'm constantly grabbing all the different yogurts to see what the macros are on the back, which I never would have done before. And then micros, we're not really going to dive into micros tonight, but those are just vitamins and minerals, right? There's many different things on the market. Many of you are probably taking lots of different vitamins and minerals currently. Yep, perfect. So macronutrients, what are they, right? Carbs, we'll start with carbs, provide the body with a quick source of ready-to-go energy on a daily basis. So our body needs carbs. Carbs are good. They give us glucose, which gives us energy. But, right, a lot of us like too many carbs. That pizza, that bread, that pasta, that can get to be a lot sometimes. And then fats. Fats are great for our body. They provide hormone support, insulation, vitamin absorption, and a stored form of energy. What I've noticed in counting my macros over the past year or so is sometimes I go over in my fats because a lot of the things that are out there just have that added fat to it. So I have to be careful with that with my own specific macro plan. And then proteins. Proteins, y'all. Protein is going to keep you full. It provides muscle development. And listen, y'all, I did not know what this word was before tonight. I had to look it up. Satiety. Say it with me. Satiety. Basically, that just means keeping your body full. And that is exactly what protein does, is it keeps your body full longer. And there's so many different sources of protein. So if you are not a meat lover, trust me, get with whoever invited you here tonight, because there are so many more sources than just meat for protein. Okay, so here is a simple example of understanding macros and what that looks like. So carbs and protein, 1 gram of either of those is equal to 4 calories. Okay, fats, 1 gram is equal to 9 calories. So that tells you that fats account for a lot more, right? So on the left, we're seeing examples of macros. Okay, so I just learned this in the past year or so. Chicken is your best source of protein per gram. So let's say chicken, 6 ounces of chicken is 281 calories, and that equals to 52 grams of protein and 6 grams of fats. Okay, so you are getting your bang for your buck with chicken. So just keep that in mind. I personally make shredded chicken because it's a lot easier to eat. But truly, if you want to get as much protein in as possible, chicken is the best source. Perfect example, black beans, a half a cup. They're 115 calories, only 8 grams of protein, and 20 grams of carbs. So that's a big difference, right? In those macros. And then salmon. Salmon is an incredible source of fats, right? That good, healthy fat for us. It is 354 calories, 34 grams of protein, and 22 grams of fat. So you can see the differences here with fats and the proteins and the calories even. Okay, so if you want to lose fat and not just weight, pay attention to the balance you have of your macros rather than the calories consumed or not consumed, okay? So yes, you do need a calorie deficit, but you want the right macro profile to lose in a healthy way and focus your metabolism on breaking down fat and not muscle. And so, for example, just when Jolene and I were training for our show, right? We were at one point, 8 weeks period of time, only eating protein, only eating animal meat. And so just noting that that was fueling our body, keeping us away from hunger, giving us the energy we needed, but also in an extreme calorie deficit to help us prepare. So it's all about what you're eating during a time like this or for your macro program.
Hey,
Hey,
you
so
guys. Yes,
yes,
thanks, sister. Okay, so in case you were like, oh man, do I got to do a bodybuilding competition to count macros? I am the girl. They put me at the end just to free you guys and let y'all know you don't have to do a bodybuilding competition. I have not, but I did get to learn from these gals. I will tell y'all the education you're getting tonight was one I was introduced to, gosh, when y'all started this time last year. My story is real similar to these girls and a lot of people that you'll probably get introduced to in this community. And that's, I'm a coach. I'm an independent optavia coach, but my background is in social work, and that career afforded me a lot of drive-throughs, and then that eating, those eating habits really started to trickle into everything I was doing. I mean, I found myself parenting from the couch. I found myself sick all the time. Like it fed into everything. And so, if any of you have ever experienced any kind of poor health situation, you know what that comes from. And it's just a result of our choices. And that finally, I decided to say enough was enough. And in 2020, I truly, truly took back my life. And I even say I took back my motherhood because I was losing it through the choices I had made with my health. And so I took that back in 2020. I lost 90 pounds in 10 months. And the journey didn't stop there. And that's actually what we're talking to you about tonight. And so if you're here, and some of you are current clients and you're about to transition, some of you are interested in learning more about macros and just learning about what we all do. Well, I will tell you, you never ever arrive, right? So even though I got to my goal, I was like, well, what do I do next? And that's when I started to learn about macros. And I'll tell you, my journey to macros was forged out of true frustration, determination, and finally won through community. Okay. So that's why we're here today, is to simplify this and just lean into the community, lean into the hard. And when it gets like, I know y'all told me about the fats and the carbs and the things, but like, what do I eat again? And so we are truly here to help you make this simple. So let me tell you 4 things you can do right now to get moving on this goal of losing your next 5 to 10 pounds. It is absolutely possible, and it does not have to be hard. Okay. We like to say KISS, keep it simple, sister, keep it simple, servant, whatever, or keep it simple, silly. I love that Cindy says that. Just keep it simple, right? Because here's what I know. All right. I spent 15 years of being almost 100 pounds overweight. I know if it's hard, we won't do it. Right. And if we keep it simple, we can follow a simple plan and we can plug and play. So 4 things you can do right now. Just start tracking what you're eating. If you bite it, write it. Find your favorite tracking tool or just write it on a piece of paper. Like, I'm telling you, don't make it hard. I promise you, if you make this hard, girl, or dude, whoever's on this thing, do not make this hard. Just if you bite it, write it and share that with someone. Whoever invited you here, if you already have a coach or if you're being held accountable with someone, share that with someone. Invite. That's why I said lean into the community. If you bite it, write it. Then get some water in your body. Okay. Drink some water. Start with 64 ounces, work your way up 100 ounces, kind of 120 is the sweet spot. You'll find what your body loves, but just nourish your body with some water, right? And then third, eat that breakfast, girl. Eat the breakfast. Like, just get up 30 minutes after you wake up and fuel your body with some good breakfast. Now, what kind of breakfast? Here's the thing. We're not going to get in the weeds with that. I'll tell you, the 4th thing you can do is you can prioritize protein. Eat some protein. Just increase your protein. Most of us, this is what I read a study the other day. Actually, I was nerding out on this. And most Americans eat between 50 to 60 grams of protein a day. Y'all, that was probably me. I don't know why I'm making a funny face. That was probably me. I'm tripping because I probably was doing that when I was 250 pounds, right? But look, if we will just prioritize protein and start to increase our protein, little micro habits, and just get it up and get it up there and make a goal, an eventual goal of 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight. So if you want to weigh 140 pounds, 140 grams of protein. That might sound bananas. Okay. And if it does, don't shoot for 140 grams of protein, shoot for 100, right? But start to increase your protein. So do these 4 things and you will be on your way to losing these next 5 to 10 pounds. Now, when you start to prioritize and work on macros, these are the results you get. You saw our stories, but let me show you some people here. When macros are considered, you start to transform the body, like truly, truly, like when Jolene was talking about all the stages of health and we talk about calorie deficit, you can eat fewer calories and get skinny. But have you ever heard of skinny fat? Have you ever heard of like truly eating the wrong things? And you can do that and you can get skinny and you can lose a bunch of muscle. But what you're looking at here are people that truly followed a macro balanced nutrition plan, and you can see many of their body types. First of all, I hope you're totally ignoring me and just looking for the person that looks like you right now, because that's what I would be doing. I'd be like this girl in the black tank top. That would be me right there in the beginning. I'd be like, man, I could look like her. Like that's the goal. And I will tell you, when you can feed the body the right things, you begin to pull the fat away and expose the muscle that's already there. How many of y'all know you got some muscles under there? You got some muscles under there. We just have to eat the right macro balanced. And take a look at this next group of people. These are even more inspiring. I love this couple in the middle. They're so fun. But all these people, some of them look like they killed it in the gym, and truly they just focused. I mean, many of them were working out, but truly they just focused on nutrition. And I know you've heard the old saying, it's 80% what we do in the kitchen, right? So this is truly what's possible when we consider eating a macro balanced plan. When you build your diet, build your nutrition plan around the right balance of macros. So what is it going to take? I'm just going to be real right now with you guys. What is it going to take? If you really truly want to make a change, it's going to have to start with a deep desire. And if you work with one of the person that invited you, I'm assuming is a coach. When you begin to work with a coach, the very first thing we're going to talk about is, why do you want to do this? And then we're going to ask you, why is that important to you? And then we're going to say, and why is that important to you? We're going to keep digging until we get deep enough and it matters, right? Because once we find what matters, that's the thing that's going to keep you going, right? Like the old coach from the baseball movie, if it was easy, everybody would do it. Like it's not, this is going to be a challenge, and it should be. If it was worth having, it needs to be hard, right? So we're going to dig deep and we're going to figure out this is what it's going to take to get the results you want, is dig deep and figure out why you want it, right? So what is the Optavia difference? So many of you might be clients here fixing a transition. And so hopefully you're seeing that, wow, there's a lot to this. Well, you can take peace in knowing that the Optavia plan does all of this science for you, which is my jam. Because I'm just going to be honest, I'm a little lazy. Okay. I'm a little lazy when it comes to nutrition. I just need it done for me. And so those of you that are like, look, I actually am pretty good at meal prepping. I have a pretty good handle on nutrition, but it would be nice to have snacks. That's where Optavia fits in. That is the Optavia difference, is it's truly just a tool. What you're looking at on this screen, these are just tools to help you accomplish everything you saw on the screens before you. And it's all macro balance. That's what's so fun about the science here. So why the coaching? Here's the true difference that you get with having a coach is, to me, really the goal is to have another voice. You need another voice in your plan. Because I know I like to say, if I get quiet, I'm getting crazy. And usually my coach can tell, right? And she will always call me out. And I will tell you, the goal of a coach is to help you create sustainable habits and to keep it simple, right? To help you keep it simple. Our job is to know for you and to teach you in tiny little increments along the way. Teach you what you need to know when you need to know it. So what you get when you decide to work with a coach, if you're not already working with a coach, is you get first a health assessment. We're going to make sure you have a nutrition plan that fits your personal goals, whether you decide to use the fuelings or just use the active. Like truly, there are a gazillion plans, one to fit everyone's nutrition plan and everyone's budget. So come on, somebody who needs a plan that fits your budget, right? Okay, then you're going to get a habit tracking app. If you need that, you're going to get access to workouts. If you don't already have a plan, you're like, I don't know what to do in the gym, we can help you with that. You get recipes, meal options, one-to-one coaching, which is the weekly calls. That's my favorite part of this whole gig, is talking to clients weekly, because how many of y'all know this is so much more than food? So much more than food. And that's the kind of stuff we talk about on our weekly calls. You're going to get access to a Facebook group for accountability. And then of course, work with your coach to do what we call the head and the heart work, right? So you ready for your freebies? Get your phone out and let's go ahead and get it going. You scan the QR code and you'll get access to your step-by-step guide to walk you through fat loss, And of course, connect with your coach that invited you tonight so that we can get you on your next steps. But this is really going to get you started. So be sure to scan that. If you're on your phone, you're like, I can't scan it, just take a picture, do a little screenshot real quick. Everybody smile in case we're in their screenshot. Okay. All right. Now, a special invite. I want to personally invite everyone on this call and bring a friend, right? Sharing's caring. So text a friend, bring a friend to our really exciting Facebook accountability group called Resolution Redo. Who needs a redo on those resolutions, right? That's what we're going to dive into. It's going to be some one-on-one coaching, bonus accelerator group. You're going to get an opportunity to get some live coaching opportunities and connect with others that are right in the same boat you're in. So here's what you do next, okay? Contact the person that invited you tonight and let them know what you thought about tonight. Let them know some takeaways. Invite accountability. If I could challenge you to do one thing tonight as you step into losing these next 5 to 10 pounds, invite accountability to your journey. Okay. Congratulations, you guys, on coming tonight and investing in yourself. That actually concludes our workshop. We are going to stop the recording and take some questions. If you've been on here about 35 minutes, so we tried to make it really quick.